everybody, welcome back to the Lacy Darcey pattern hack tutorial. In this video I'll be sewing all the vertical seams and applying elastic along this top edge here. So let's begin with the centre front seam. So I've got 2 layers here and 2 layers there, the stretch lace and the stretch mesh. So what I'm going to do is take my 2 stretch lace layers, place them at right sides together, matching that front edge and the top edge. Because we've mirrored the pattern pieces, it will fit nicely together like that. And then I'm going to take my 2 lining pieces, and if your lining has a right side, then place them right sides together like that. And then make a little pile and match that centre front edge. Now your lining will sit lower, that's perfect, like that. And then just pin that centre front seam. So then just sew this seam as you would on the regular Darcey bra sewing pattern if you were making it with fabric. Just sew 1 centimetre seam allowance using a straight stitch. There we are. So now I'm just going to grade this seam allowance because it's stretch mesh for the lining. I'm going to cut those to the same level. And then if you cut your first lace layer slightly longer, and then your last lace layer just a little bit longer than that. It just helps to reduce the bulk at the centre front seam. So if we open out these pattern pieces now, so if we basically just put them all wrong sides together, we've sewn the centre front seam and it's all enclosed in the lining like that, and then the lining layer should sit lower than the lace layer like that. So now we're going to apply some elastic to this top edge just to stabilise this edge and hide the edge of the lining. So I'm going to be using this plush picot elastic. It's the same elastic I'll be using for the rest of the top edge, and we're going to apply it in 2 lots, so 1 to the centre front and then up the other side. So I'm going to place the elastic in this position so it's not going to be visible above the lace, and it covers the edge of the lining like that, and just leave yourself a little overhang here. Secure with a few machine multi-step zigzag stitches or a 3-step zigzag stitch here, and then just apply a small amount of tension to the elastic. So I've got my machine set to a 3-step zigzag stitch with a length of 2 and a width of 2.5, and then if you just secure in place with a couple of stitches back and forth, and then as I said, just apply a small amount of tension on the elastic like that. You don't want to stretch it too much, but just apply a small amount of tension to it, and then sew along the top of the elastic. Make sure your layers are sitting nice when you get to the centre front. On the right side of the bra you can't even see the stitches because I've used the same colour thread. So that's the good thing about lace, you can sort of sew on top of it and it just, you don't even notice it because obviously the lace is quite busy anyway, so there we go. So now what I'm going to do is just trim this elastic back. I'm just going to trim it back and cut it off nice and square there. Then do exactly the same for the other side, so just secure with a few machine stitches and then just apply a small amount of tension on the elastic and then sew. There we go, and then just trim back the elastic. And that's what we should look like. There we go. So this is what the centre front should look like. As you can see, it's not gathered, it's not wavy, and the elastic is nicely hidden away on the inside. The next step now then is to sew on our side front pattern piece. This method is exactly the same as comes with the Darcey bra sort of in the pattern instructions. So we're just going to place the side front to the right side of the centre front like that, right sides together, flip all the work over, and then place the right side, again if your lining has a right side, place that to the right side of the fabric on the inside, like that. And then match your notches. Obviously the centre front isn't going to come right to the top, but match your notches and it'll end up in the right place. So I'm going to sew the seam with a 1 cm seam allowance and a straight stitch. So as I went over the elastic, I did just go back and forwards a couple of times just to make sure it's nice and secure. And now what we need to do is grade the seam allowance just like we did with the centre front. Like that. So because this is a curved seam, just cut a couple of notches into this seam, just fold and cut a couple of V shapes out just to help with the bulk at this seam. It's as simple as that. So fold your pattern pieces so the wrong sides are together and it should look something like this. So give your seam a little bit of a press. If you have a pressing cloth, use that. Use a very low heat and test this out on a scrap piece of lace first, just to make sure you're not going to melt your lace to the bottom of the iron. So to retain the shape that we've created with this bust seam, just place your bust seam over the edge of your ironing board and just press it very gently on a very low heat. So next you want to attach your back pattern piece, so take the lace and place it to the right side of the side front pattern piece, right sides together, matching the side seam. Flip all the work over like that and then place the lining, if your lining has a right side to the right side of the side front lining. So match up all these edges, and if you want to make this easy you can baste the two layers of the side front, so the lining and the main together, and then just pin all these layers in place. Again with this seam, just sew with a 1 cm seam allowance and a straight stitch. Remove your pins as you go. So just grade this seam allowance like you've done before. So everything we've just done here, repeat for the side, front and back pattern pieces on the other side. So there we are, that's all our vertical seam sewn, and also we've added our elastic into this edge here to stabilise that edge. So that's it for this tutorial. In the next one I'll be showing you how to apply your band elastic along the bottom edge, how to sew your picot elastic along the top edge, and also we'll be including a strap tab with a ring on it so we can attach our adjustable strap. So head on over to part 3 of this tutorial and I'll see you there.